someone asked me, how do I step into the unknown? And this was a follow-up question when I was discussing in one of our satsangs the ability to rest in the unknown, to rest in not knowing. So they kind of followed up after with, that seems impossible. How do I do that? How do I simply rest in the unknown? How do I remain in this state of not knowing? And that's what I want to talk about in this video. How do I step into the unknown is really about letting go of the known. It's not really like there's effort that needs to be made in terms of stepping into the unknown. In fact, it's already unknown. You're already in the unknown. You are the unknown. What's happening is you're holding on to the known. It's giving you this sense of safety, security. It's creating this imaginary circle that you're in the middle of, and the circle says known. And if you step out of the circle, now you're in this unknown territory. But really, this circle is imaginary. This known zone is imaginary. So how do you step into the unknown is simply letting go of the known. Now, on the spiritual journey, you could say this is done in increments. You could say that you get practice letting go of the known. It feels like you're, what do people say? Getting comfortable being uncomfortable. What's uncomfortable is the unknown. And what's comfortable is the known. So you're getting comfortable being uncomfortable, meaning you're stepping into the unknown. That's what people usually say. And this has been happening your entire life, that little installments or little increments, you're stepping into the unknown a little bit more. And you notice that there's more growth, there's more evolution that's happening the more you step into the unknown. Another way of saying that is the more you let go, the more you grow. The more you evolve, the more you're letting go. Because it's all inverted of what you think. You think that the more you know, the more you're growing. The more you know, the more you're evolving. And it's almost the opposite, that the more you let go, the more you're evolving. It's a complete paradox. So as we let go of our beliefs, our assumptions, our conclusions, our projections, our imagination, our expectations, all of that, those are all things that we're doing that's creating this illusion of, I know it. And then you're simply without all of that. You're in this unknown. You don't know what's going to happen. You don't know what's going to unfold. And so we do this along the journey, and it's almost like with practice of letting go, then the more you're feeling like, yeah, I'm getting more comfortable in the unknown. And for myself, I found this just in like entrepreneurship, that I was just letting go. And I didn't see it as any sort of spiritual evolution or anything like that. It was just a love for the unknown that was developing. I saw that I was getting more and more courageous, that I was loving the aliveness of not knowing, which when you hear that, it could either be very frightening to you, or it could be, yeah, I know what you're talking about. There's a certain aliveness of just simply being with the unknown. Everything is on extreme alert. Everything is more sensitive. Why? Because it's like unknown territory. Imagine that you're in a forest that you've never been in, and the sun is setting and it's getting dark. So it's getting dark and you're in unknown territory, which you've never been in. Now, how alert are you going to be? Very alert. You've never been here before. You have to watch where you're putting your foot very carefully. And it's getting darker and darker. So it requires even more sensitivity where you're putting your foot, and you're seeing where you're seeing. So there's a great amount of alertness and attention and sensitivity that is needed when you're in this unknown territory, which then you could say also has this feeling of being alive. So in my entrepreneurship journey, I felt this, that yes, it's this aliveness. I'm falling in love with this aliveness. I want to meet my fears face to face, be courageous, embrace the fear, because there was this aliveness in the unknown. So I fell in love with the unknown. And it's this love affair for the unknown that you're able to rest in it. And it's almost like you can't go back to living in the known. It almost feels like that. Like you just can't, because it feels so, how do I say this nicely? Well, it's not going to sound nicely. It feels dead. It feels dead. Because when you've experienced the aliveness of here now, when you've experienced the aliveness of the unknown, you're fully alive. You don't want to go back to the known. It feels dead. Here now is fresh. The past, everything that's known as the past, is stale. So you don't want to experience a stale life. You want to experience a fresh life. Do you not? You don't want to experience a dead life. You want to experience life that's alive. Do you not? So you start falling in love with this freshness of the present moment, the aliveness that's here now in the unknown. So yeah, you get comfortable being uncomfortable. So this is very gradual, and it seems like you kind of get practice stepping into the unknown. It's like you start seeing what's going on here. The more you let go, the more you're experiencing the aliveness of life. The more you let go, the more you're growing spiritually, not growing in the sense of like personal development growing, something else deeper than that. And you're able to fall in love with the unknown. Like I said, it becomes a love affair where you can't possibly go back. What keeps one in the known zone is fear. And the only way to step into the unknown is love. So this love starts growing in you. This love for the present moment, this love for life itself, that you're able to then live spontaneously, because everything that's known would be some sort of plan. You know what's going to happen. You have these plans. It's predictable. So it feels like you're living life without the script. Instead of following the script, you're practicing improv. And it just feels so much better to go off script. And you start noticing that things, events in life, situations, experiences are so wonderful. They're full of wonder. Wonder is about awe and surprise. You're surprised because you didn't plan it. You're in awe because you didn't imagine it going like this. So you've let go of imagination. You've let go of the plan. You're moved by love, which is moving you spontaneously in each moment. Whatever unfolds in this moment, there's a spontaneous action, a spontaneous response to the moment. It seems like whatever is needed at the time is simply happening. And you start realizing that this is going much better than when you try and force things, plan things, and try and script it out. When you try and, in other words, control life. Experientially, you start realizing that life is a lot better when you're not trying to control it. When you're controlling life, it seems like nothing ever goes my way. And when you're not controlling life, it seems like everything is just happening. And it can't be any other way. Can't be any other way because it's what is. It's always what is. This present moment is always what is. It's never what isn't. But as long as we try and control life, we're always creating this what isn't. We're always forcing what is to become what isn't. And that never happens. It can never be like that because there's only what is. So you let go of control. And it's funny because it's ironic that when we want to control life, we want to experience this kind of power that I'm in control. And it's ironic that when we let go of control, that we then feel the power. We feel the power when we let go of control. And this power is the power of the present moment, the power of life itself, that is then felt within us. in each moment, that we are full of this power that we call life. And it's because we are full of this power that we call life that we feel so alive. And it's this power that is emanating, that is making us move in each moment spontaneously without any resistance. And when there's no resistance, there's no suffering. There's just the flow of life, the flow of this moment that is just unfolding. And this power that's flowing through you is felt like the current. And life is just simply flowing. And it's moving how it wants to move. And you're just simply going with the flow. And it couldn't be any other way. Now, where the resting comes in is because you're not fighting the current anymore. You're not resisting the flow. You're resting. It's like you're floating. You're just going with the flow. You're floating. You're able to rest in the unknown. Much like these videos. Very practical example I'll give you. I didn't know what I was going to say. When you hear it is when I'm hearing it. I have no idea what's going to come out of my mouth. There's nothing planned. There's no expectations of what I'm trying to say, what I'm supposed to say. There's no resistance. The words are simply arising out of silence. The activity is simply arising out of stillness. There's just resting in the potential that is full to become whatever it wants to become. But there's no separate controller that's trying to control what things should become and what they shouldn't. There's nothing that's suppressing the flow. Of the words. It's just a natural expression that's happening. And it's coming from this place of, I don't know. So I'm resting in this, I don't know what's going to come about of this video. This place of, I don't know what I'm going to say. This place of unknown. I don't know what this is about. And there's this wonder. There's this surprise. I'm surprised. Of the message or whatever's coming out of the mouth as it comes out of the mouth. It's like watching word after word come out. And then there's a sentence and there's a surprise. That's what came out. But there's no trying to take those words back. I should have said it this way. There's none of that. Because that would be resistance. That'd be holding on to the past. As soon as the word is coming out, it's like it vanishes, disappears, and there's another word coming in that's happening moment to moment. It's like appearing and disappearing. As soon as it appears, it disappears. And there's then something new, something fresh. And it's the ability to simply rest in that stillness, that silence, that not knowing, which then makes you feel so alive. Because it's like life is speaking through you. You're not trying to control life anymore. Life is just speaking through you. And there's something that's just so satisfying about that. And like I said, is when I was on this entrepreneurship journey and meeting with clients and employees and doing all this stuff, it was embracing that I don't know, embracing that openness. I don't have a plan of what I'm going to say in this client meeting. Let's just see what happens, right? So there's that courage of embracing that fear, which looks a lot like uncertainty, right? Just like this video. I was uncertain of what's going to say. Perhaps some people have closed down the video and they're no longer listening, and that's fine. There's no expectation that I've created for how long the video should be and how many people should view it and how many likes. There's none of that going on. It's simply, like I said, you're just being moved by life. Whatever's happening is happening. Couldn't be any other way. So in these meetings, they would just simply rest in this openness and just be open. Let's just hang out with this uncertainty. I don't know what I'm going to say. And I always just kind of called it winging it, right? It's just winging it. But that's really what it was. It was just being open to uncertainty, opening to the unknown. And it was like getting more and more comfortable with winging it. And this actually even started earlier on than when I was into entrepreneurship, whatever that age was, right after university, however old you are, 18 or 19, I guess. But I noticed it happening in like grade 8, maybe a little later than that, like grade 9 or grade 10, whenever you're taking like first year biology, chemistry and stuff like that, doing these presentations. I remember I used to always like try and plan what I was going to say, wanting to like have a script, cue cards. You got to stick to the script. I got to like control what I'm going to say. And there was so much stress. There was so much of this planning, getting it right. And then I was seeing how, when I just wing it, there's no stress because there's no expectations. There's nothing that's in this hand saying it's got to look like this. It's like that was not created. Here's my plan. Here's my cue cards. Here's what I should be saying. The should. There wasn't a should. There was only what is. And I noticed that whatever the presentation was, I'm trying to remember back, it was probably photosynthesis or something like that. And noticing that these Bristol board presentations that used to feel very scary to go up and present in front of a class were no longer scary. And there was no longer stressing about it the night before. There was simply relaxing. Relax. Just wing it. It's okay. What's the worst that's going to happen? Right? And that just became more and more. I just started winging it more and more. Presentation after presentation, assignment after assignment. There was none of this great deal of stress and resistance and worry and anxiety. None of that was happening. And I just started seeing that this is the way. This is, why would I go back to scripting something? Why would I go back to planning out something? It's never going to go like that. It's only going to create disappointment when the plan doesn't work out how I planned it to be. So immediately I viewed it as winging it equals happiness. Planning equals disappointment, unhappiness, right? So I was able to see that. There's just more and more winging it. Brought it into business, winging meetings and client meetings and employee meetings and phone calls and sales and all these different things. They were never stressful. They were never stressful. It was just this, what I would just call the flow state. Have like these hour-long or 2-hour-long phone calls with clients, these meetings, and they would just be completely flow state. And they always seemed to go well. And then there was absolutely zero preparation for them. Just like these videos, I just turn it on and answer just a question, but I only know the question as soon as I read it. There's no planning of what to say or anything like that, which either is good or bad for you. If you like someone to ramble about these things and a long video, then great. If you're able to feel the presence that's beyond these words, then amazing. You're tuning into the real message. But if you're expecting, here's the 3 steps to enter the flow state, or here's the 5 pointers of this, or here's the 10 signs of this, I don't do those type of videos. Why? Because that requires planning. I don't know what the 10 steps are. I don't know what the 5 steps are. I don't know these 3 steps. I'm not breaking things down like that. That would require planning. And I don't do that. Right? So what you're able to feel is you're able to, if you're open enough, if you're tuned in enough, you're able to feel this aliveness. You're able to feel this presence. You're able to feel the peace, the joy, the freedom, the love that's here now. It's here now. And that's what you start falling in love with. You start falling in love with what is here now. You start falling in love with reality instead of your dream, the dream of what isn't. You fall in love with what is instead of what isn't. And you realize that that's the only way to actually be happy. How can you be happy with what isn't? Dreaming about what isn't is actually unhappiness. Loving what is happiness. So this resting in the unknown was developing more and more. And it was, you could say, quickly becoming the way of life, was living in the unknown. It wasn't just about presentations in front of high school students. It wasn't just about client meetings, employee meetings, sales calls, phone calls. It was showing up in every moment. There's just letting go of the plan. It was becoming so spontaneous. If it was a nice day, hey, well, not coming into the office to work as much. I'm going for a walk. It's a nice day. Right? It was showing up like that. It was showing up with just staying at home with the kids on certain days. It was showing up in so many different ways. Spontaneously making this for dinner, not having the plan, just kind of opening up the fridge and seeing what's there. And it's from this openness, this blank state of I don't know, that then everything was way more creative, that this creative potential was then being expressed moment to moment in the most mundane ways. Instead of driving this way to work, it was just, let's go on an adventure and drive a different way to work. Something like that. But because you're so in love with that amount of spontaneity, there's just, it's like every moment is a mini adventure. You're approaching the moment with so much curiosity because you don't know. You can't have curiosity if you know. Curiosity is about, I don't know, but I want to know. I don't know. Is there another way to drive home other than the way that I took yesterday? I don't know. Let's find out. I don't know if I can make dinner for my family without planning something ahead of time, making sure I have all the ingredients. Can I just open up the fridge and make something? And it's always, like I said, very surprising, very shocking. This awe, this wonder that was like, wow, yeah, that was an amazing meal with zero preparation, zero planning. It just unfolded. It just happened. And you're so out of the way that then there's no one even there to claim ownership of it. I started seeing this in some of the client meetings with business, that as I was speaking, having these like 1 hour, 2 hour calls, I'd just be calling, I'd have like my headphones or on speakerphone and just kind of walking around the office or around the desk or around my house or wherever I was. And it's like the words were just coming out. And like, it was always like saying like the right thing. But there was not me saying like, yeah, I did that. I said that right word and give myself a pat on the back. I feel like they were feeling it and they're just connected to it. And they're like, oh yeah, that was amazing. But there was not this sense of someone made that happen. Like I said, it's just like in this video, there's like this just watching the words come out. There's the watching of like, what's going to come out next? This like openness, this emptiness of just simply seeing what arises. And it's almost like a surprise when it comes out. It's a surprise coming out. It's just like seeing it. Oh, let's just see what happens. Let's just turn on the camera and start talking and see what comes out. But it's like that now for every moment. And that's what I was seeing develop. It was this ability, let's just see where this goes. Let's just see where these roads go. Let's just see where I'd go on like these long runs and absolutely have no idea how long I'm running, where I'm running, if I have water, if I don't have water, and none of that stuff was planned. I wouldn't even know if I'm going left or right outside of like coming off my driveway for these runs. It would literally just tie up the shoes and go. And then and then it would be like left. And then go left. And every kind of, route was created like that. It wasn't creating this, oh, here's a 10K loop and here's an 8K loop and none of that. It was once that, but it quickly turned into an adventure. Every run was an adventure. Every bike ride was an adventure. Go on these 100K, 200K rides. And it was like, I could get lost. I would absolutely not know where I was going. And it was always those rides, those runs, which were becoming the normal of just absolutely not knowing where I was going to go, if I was going to be able to find a gas station to get some water, how long I'm going, if I'm going to be able to make it home before sundown, like that level. And it started seeming like that for everything. I was going canoeing, for camping, bike riding, running, walking, driving, like it just, everything became like this mini adventure, this level of curiosity. And it was in those experiences where there's just so much freedom that's felt. There's this sense of freedom, and there's this just love for life. And that's from just being so open. That's for just simply embracing the uncertainty, where you become so, the cliche line, becoming so comfortable being uncomfortable, that then you actually just fall in love with that uncertainty. You fall in love with the unknown. And you could say the more familiar you become with the unknown, the more you realize that you are the unknown. So if you stuck around for this long in the video, let me know if you stuck around, leave a comment. And hopefully you're able to experience some of that. Let me know if you're experiencing some of that, because it's definitely something that's profound. And if you tune into what's happening and you just simply know how to embrace it more and more in each moment, let go of the known more and more, and embrace this unknown, then I feel like this journey, you make this progress becomes faster. And it just seems like it just takes off when you really tune into that, what's happening. Oh yeah, in these moments, that's where I'm feeling the most free, is when I've let go of everything. These moments when I feel the most alive, it's because I'm extremely present. These moments when I'm experiencing all of this happiness, it's because I've let go of expectations. These moments when I'm profoundly peaceful, it's because I'm not in conflict with myself. These moments when I'm free of suffering, it's because I've let go of resistance. These moments when I'm completely fulfilled, it's because I'm completely empty. When you just start reflecting on your own journey and you see that this is true for you, then what can happen is you can lean into it more and more. You start developing this trust. You start trusting the unknown. You start trusting that uncertainty. And it's with that trust that you learn how to get out of your own way. And it's like you can trust what seems to be almost like a free fall. It feels a lot like you're just free falling, but you have so much trust. It seems like the more you just let go and fall back, it just feels like you're surprisingly supported in miraculous ways. Synchronicities start happening. Life feels so magical. There's so much surprise, wonder, awe, excitement, aliveness. And you start feeling like you're living at a whole new level. And it's funny because it's the ordinary that's transformed into the extraordinary. What I'm talking about is something that you might say, oh, that seems too good to be true. Like, I want to see some proof. Show me the receipts. You're like trying to say, oh, well, what kind of trips have you been? Where have you been here? Have you been that? Show me all these trophies and accolades. And I'm saying, I don't have any of that to show you. I'm talking about a walk to the mailbox to get the mail, but feels like everything is fully alive and vibrant, just emanating, radiating, shimmering, sparkling. The warmth of the sun hitting your face, the breeze just going behind your neck, making the hairs of your neck stand up, the rolling of your feet on the ground, pushing your hips, feeling the body move. And then when you get the mail, you say, I'm not going back home. Let me just take a walk. And that was totally unexpected. And then that leads you to a park. And then you see kids playing and you're seeing what's happening there. And you're seeing this innocence of the kids playing and the beauty and funny moments. Kids playing, being kids. And then that takes you somewhere else. And then it takes you somewhere. And then all of a sudden, this walk to the mailbox was a complete adventure. An adventure in the mundane, just normal things that are just happening in your neighborhood. But there's a level of aliveness to them. And almost like this majesty, this wonder. And this is happening moment to moment. And it's funny because someone might just ask, hey, what's new? It happened to me. It's been happening for quite a while. You just catch up with friends, or someone would say, even family, what's new or what's going on? And my response is always nothing. But at the exact same time, I know that everything is new. They just wouldn't understand it. Because if you started explaining this stuff to other people, they think you're on drugs. They think you're on drugs. You're experiencing life on a whole new level. It's like every moment is like, I don't want to say psychedelic in the sense that like it's an altered state. In fact, it's the natural state. That life is actually like this. When you let go of the filter of the mind, you're experiencing raw reality. You're experiencing the natural state. Life as it is. But when someone asks you, what are things that are new? How's life? What's new? What's happening? It's like you just say, nothing. You won't understand it because it's like almost like there's no, this is better than that. Getting the mail was just as good as seeing the kids come home from school, which was just as good as making the dinner unexpectedly, spontaneously with random ingredients that were in the fridge. But you strung together some 5-star meal, which then was followed by putting them to bed and catching the sunset and the sky being pink and purple. And it's those ordinary activities that are then extraordinary. Someone's like, hey, what's new or what's happening? You're like, just got the mail. Kids came home, ate dinner, saw sunset. They're like, okay, so what? Because you'd have to experience it at that level. So there's a level of intensity in each moment. And it's because all of your attention is with what is instead of what isn't. Your attention is undivided. So there's a level of intensity that each moment your attention is penetrating the moment so deeply that there's absolutely no separation experience with some experiencer that's experiencing this, that you're one with it. And what you're actually experiencing is the essence of the moment without any filter. So that's whatever this video is about. Resting in the unknown and getting comfortable, being uncomfortable, stepping into the unknown. So hopefully this helps. I'll see you in the next one.